For member statements, today we will hear from the member for Harbour Grace, Port de Grave, Fortune Bay, Cape Hune, Conception Bay South, Placentia West-Bellevue, and St. John's Centre. The Honourable member for Harbour Grace, Port de Grave.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is with a heavy heart that I stand to recognize the Humboldt Broncos Hockey Organization, the team which faced the recent unimaginable fatal tragedy in Saskatchewan. There were 16 deaths as a result of the collision between the team's bus and a large semi-truck. Also, although so far away, the Humboldt tragedy has a connection to our province. Parker Tobin was one of the junior hockey players who died. His father, Eddie Tobin, is from Bay Roberts, and Parker's mom, Rhonda Clark, grew up in Heart's Content. Many members of the Tobin family still reside in Bay Roberts. Parker was the team's goalie. He was 18. The municipality, along with surrounding Conception Bay North residents, came together right away and gathered for a vigil at the Bay Arena on Thursday night. And on Saturday night, there was a charity hockey game. The town of Bay Roberts, along with the volunteer firefighters, myself included, took on the RCMP, the local RCMP. It was a full house for both the vigil and the hockey game, raising more than $8,000 to support Parker's family. Mr. Speaker, this tragedy has indeed hit close to home. The former member from my district is a childhood friend of Parker's dad. On behalf of all members here in our House of Assembly, we extend sincere condolences to all of the loved ones affected by this tragedy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable member for Fortune Bay, Cape Hune.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in this honourable House today to deliver accolades to Boyce Stewart, Harbour Breton's Citizen of the Year for 2017. Mr. Stewart has been an active member in a number of the town's subcommittees, including the Beautification Committee, the Sunny Cottage Corporation, Elliott Premises, the local Rod and Gun Club, and the Harbour Breton Harbour Authority. Along with his charitable work throughout the community, as President of the Harbour Authority, he is held in very high regard by the community, and we thank him for his commitment, which has played an instrumental role in completing crucial projects for the town, including construction of the new wharf on the north side and extension of the Fisherman's Wharf on the south side, the construction of 12 floating docks, the completion of a breakwater, and many more initiatives that serve to improve our fishery infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, I ask all members of this House to join me in congratulating Boyce Stewart for his dedication to his community and the very well-deserved honour of Citizen of the Year. We look forward to his continued commitment and initiative for years to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable member for Conception Bay South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to speak about a tireless advocate in my district, Mr. Clayton Delaney, who suffers from ARBC, a rare heart disease. Clayton has been a strong advocate for many years for AEDs to be available in all schools and anywhere there's a need. Unfortunately, many members of Clayton's family have inherited the same medical issue. He has taken this initiative to work with the Heart and Stroke Foundation, community groups, as well as myself, to bring awareness and to ensure no life is needlessly lost. Since AEDs are now in most schools, recreation centres and public places, his new initiative is creating a registry. Mr. Speaker, this man is dedicated to the cause. I'm happy to report Clayton has received his heart transplant in Ottawa on March 18th and is doing well. While waiting for his heart, in Ottawa for his new heart, he asked me to keep advocating for this registry. And I say that's passion, Mr. Speaker. I ask all honourable members to keep Clayton in your prayers and to thank him for his commitment to making our world a better place. Thank you.
The Honourable member for Placentia West-Bellevue.
Mr. Speaker, the best way is the Osmond way, and what a weekend it has been. A raucous airport arrival, a celebratory Olympic event here at Confederation Building, culminating in a hometown celebrations, where literally thousands of people came out to meet Caitlin, celebrate her accomplishments, and watch her skate on her home ice. Her dog, Brasket, and her parents, Jeff and Jackie, travelled home too. In fact, in her mother's speech Saturday night, she said, "I was Caitlin's #1 fan, and I'm inclined to agree." The entire weekend was fabulous. I thank many of my colleagues for joining me on the Burin Peninsula, and as we mark Volunteer Week, let me say a special thank you to the tireless organisers who made these events possible. Our hometown pride was at its peak, and it showed. When asked by a reporter why she lists Marystown as her hometown, she gave the perfect response, and I quote, "It never really occurred to me to put anything else. I always say Marystown, it's where I am from." Mr. Speaker, it's this humble spirit that earned Caitlin not only her Olympic and world achievements, but the hero's welcome she was given. And if I know Caitlin, it won't be long before I rise to my place once again to say she's done it again. Welcome home, Caitlin.
The Honourable, the member for St. John's Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last Wednesday night, over 100 volunteers met at the Boys and Girls Club in St. John's Centre to do the second point-in-time count organized by End Homelessness St. John's. From 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., volunteers spread out across the city, counting our city's homeless population. The goal was to meet and survey people living on the streets, in parks, in cars, abandoned buildings, in emergency shelters and short-term housing. The hidden homeless couch surfing by staying with friends or relatives, and people accommodated in public systems such as hospitals or correctional institutions who had no fixed address when released. I also went on the count and was humbled by the resilience of the people that I met. End Homelessness St. John's is chaired by the former amazing MHA Sean Skinner, coordinated by the amazing Bruce Pierce, and the count was organized by the amazing Pega Memmarpour, all champions to end homelessness. Bravo to them and to the incredible dedicated volunteers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.